Hello. Yes. So today we're going to be talking on business and business investment and then financing. Yes. So today strategies. We're going to be talking on, and that will be the series one. Yes, for some of us that try to join my last webinar at the University of Malete, that's Kwara State University, Malete. So some of us unfortunately could not be at the webinar due to some reasons. So I decided to record this version for us to make it like a recap. So let me share my screen. Okay. Thank you for joining this live session. It's going to be a brief as I could. So I hope I'm able to cover everything within the short period. As brief as I could. So I hope I'm able to cover everything within the short period. Okay. So sharing my screen now. Yes, this session is going live on YouTube. So if you are following us on YouTube, you can probably see how it's going. So investment and financing strategy for businesses. And this is the exact presentation that I did at the Kwara State University Malete's webinar. So it's a seminar that was organized by the Center for Vocational Skills and Entrepreneurship of the Kwara State University under the leadership of Professor Mubarak Sani, who is the director of the center. So, and the event was organized for the staff of the university. And what the purpose of this seminar or the event was meant for was to sensitize the civil servants ahead of retirement and at the same time to prepare them ahead. And then using business as a tool to get them ready for retirement. A lot of presenters were there. So I am also one of the guest speaker, and this is what the topic I'm to cover. So for followers of FinREMIT, I decided to send them to record this version just to show us what we have on that day, and then also to discuss with us the topic. So I did a brief introduction of myself, and which is on the screen here. So I'm a university scholar. My name is Emmanuel Temitope Amujo. I'm a university scholar from the University of Ilorin, Nigeria. I had a master's in finance, also from the Beta by Far University of Ilorin, Nigeria. I had my second master's in development finance from the University of Reading in the United Kingdom. I'm the chairman of AmGood Group. AmGood Group comprises of AmGood Cosmetics, AmGood Foods, Safety Share, Jelsin Optima Limited. And Jelsin Optima Limited is also registered in Nigeria and in the United Kingdom. I'm the founder of FinREMIT. FinREMIT is a data-driven fintech that is revolutionizing remittances from migrants in diaspora to facilitate global development. I'm also, my business, I'm Good, won the federal government of Nigeria and You Win grant in 2013-2014. And then we also won the 2 million entrepreneurship grant in 2015. And one of our member of the I'm Good group also, that's the Save the Share, won the 2 million entrepreneurship grant in 2018. I'm a United States Young African Leaders Initiative alumni, the Ghana Regional Learning Center version. I am also an alumnus of the EDC Enterprise Development Center, Pan Atlantic University, Lagos Business School. Also an endorsee of the Henley Business School, that's in the University of Reading. I'm an husband and a father. So about my business, I was able to just introduce some of my businesses to the participants, and these are the business that I showed to them. This first on the screen here is our cosmetics line, and we use this shea butter, which is a natural resources, renewable natural resources in Nigeria. Shea butter is made from the shea tree and is used for cosmetics, for body cream, and also hair care. And my second business is Atalilo Pepper Spice, which is one of the line from our I'm Good food line. So Atalilo is made from habanero pepper, and we also have some spices made with it, which we call Great Taste, a mix of a blend of Atalilo and Atalilo and crayfish, Atalilo and locust beans, Atalilo and just a blend to spice up your food. So it's not an advertising session, so I won't waste much time on this. I also discuss about FinREMIT, which is my fintech business based in the UK, and is a data-driven initiative that is tailored for migrants in diaspora. And what we're trying to do is to revolutionize remittances to foster sustainable global growth, like I said earlier. So the learning objective of this presentation was that I specifically want the participants to know why they needed to invest, and then what are the investment strategies that they can adopt. And also, you need to also know when to invest, because there are times to invest. There is time that you are investment ready. So, so as a business, you need to know when to invest. As an individual, you need to know when to invest in a business, and which is different from the investment readiness of a business itself. Because the readiness of a business investment readiness of a business is when an investor, a third-party investor, can really see your business as being ready and then want to put their money into you. But you knowing when to invest is when you need to put your own money to start either a business or to invest in other business. Funding strategies for business growth. So what are the strategies you can use to start your business and the likes? Then exploring various funding opportunities for your business. So I shared some of these screens. For some of you that has actually attended my business financing session we would have a tip of some of these opportunities, and then becoming investment ready. So I think what will be relatively new to my followers is the part where we talked about the investment strategy. So, and also knowing when to invest. So, that's the earlier part of this presentation. So the latter part, which is about business financing and the likes, for some of you, you might have heard about it earlier. So on the first part, which is investment strategies, and investment readiness. And on this screen, I said here that investment is the act of using your money or resources to acquire assets or undertake activities with the expectation of generating future income or increasing the value of those assets over time. So what this implies is that it is not an investment if it is not intended to add value, to have value in the future. So nobody wants to put 1 naira down and then by next 2 years is not adding any value to him. Because we need to also consider that there is a time value of money. 50 naira today is not the same as 50 naira tomorrow. Same as 50 pounds today is not the same as 50 pounds next 2 years. Let me give an instance for some of us that are from Nigeria. 5-6 years back, we could recall that a sachet of water, which is called pure water or table water in Nigeria, which is not in the PET bottle, the one in sachet, is relatively 5 naira. And today, maybe 5 years after, I'm aware that it's like 50 naira now. So let's look at it from the perspective of investment. So if you have 5 naira in your savings account 5 years ago, or in an account 5 years ago, and it's not adding any value, it's not increasing in its value, 5 years after, then when you had the money in your bank, you could afford to buy a sachet of pure water. But 5 years after, that 5 naira is still there as 5 naira, and you go to the bank, you withdraw it out, and you are still thirsty to drink a sachet of water, and you get to the market, it will be so unfortunate that you can't buy that same sachet of water anymore. That is, the value of that money has dropped, the purchasing power has dropped. So if you keep it and it's not adding any value, it's not undertaking any activities that would increase the future value of that money, it's not an investment. So rather than keep your money where it will not add any value, it's important you keep it, and the process whereby you keep it to add value becomes an investment. So that's a simple layman way for me to explain what an investment is. So anything you put your money into, whether financial or non-financial, because it is not only cash that you can invest, you can also invest things that are non-cash. You can use your asset as an investment. I will discuss that extensively in the course of this presentation. So this is just investment defined briefly. So why invest? Why do I need to invest? The first thing I said here is we invest to build wealth, to beat inflation. So like I explained earlier, some of us may decide to say, okay, I'm keeping this 5 naira for the next 5 years so that in this investment window for the next 5 years, so that in the next 5 years, I will be able to beat inflation, that is the drop in the value of money, the purchasing power of money. Some people could say, I'm putting this 5 naira somewhere so that in the next 5 years, I want to have 50 naira to also invest in something else. So that person is not relatively trying to invest to beat inflation, but rather invest for another financial goal of putting it in another investment, like maybe diversifying his business. Some people is to build wealth, that, okay, I want to build this wealth so that in the future I could build my net worth and say, oh, I'm worth this amount because of the various investment I have, and maybe in the future I can hand over this investment to my generation to call my children and the likes. So some people invest to diversify risk, like maybe they don't want to, they are afraid of my present source of income could be at risk. So for this reason, in case I lose this source of income, this will be an added source of income to me. So you invest to increase your income stream so that you could at least protect yourself from any future loss of income, and then which could later affect your financial position or your financial net worth. So the summary is relatively here. First, there is wealth accumulation, beat inflation, financial goal, like maybe you have a business in future you want to do and you feel like, okay, let me start investing in something. When it gets to that time, I can't pick the money I've invested to start that particular business. That's a financial goal. And then it could be for diversification and, like I said, a passive income to just serve as an extra source of income. So 5 reasons why you must invest: wealth accumulation, beat inflation, meet your financial goal, diversify your risk, and at the same time have multiple passive income for yourself. So now let's talk about the investment strategies. The number one investment strategy that I would like to discuss with us this evening is that you should start early. You see, many of us wants to invest, and one reason why we have not started is because we felt like we are not ready, or we are not financially buoyant, or we are not. The truth about it is that you can't be 100% ready before you start investment. Starting investing early and starting small is the best approach, is the best and the most important strategy for you in investment. I could remember when we started our share butter business, which I shared with you, we they did not start as big as we envisioned or we planned. We started from the perspective of what is even the problem we wanted to solve. You see, the first thing I need to let you know this evening is that when you are starting a business, is not when you open that shop or when you set up that office. Starting starts from planning. So when you want to have, in fact, it's not about planning alone. Start from the ideation. When you conceive the idea you want to do, when you identify the problem you want to solve, that is the point at which we consider you starting a business. It is not that point where it is not a point where you say, okay, I've bought this stock or this item, I want to start trading. No, the business or the investment itself starts from that time that you conceive the idea that I need to start something, like I've told you about the why. So it is when the why comes, you identify a reason why you need to invest. That is the very point where you need to start that investment. And it starts from the ideation, like I said. So I said there on the screen, I said, don't wait until the last day of your retirement, especially for civil servant. I mentioned this because I was talking to civil servants and then staff of the university. So you don't need to wait until when you are retired and you get that gratitude you are waiting to get from the government so that you could say, oh, the X millions of naira that I want to get, I will use it to invest in this particular stock or something. No, you don't need to wait until then. So you need to start investment right from the time that you conceive you are convinced that you needed to invest based on the 5 reasons that I listed earlier, as seen on the screen here. So I also mentioned here that the earlier you start investing, the more time your money has to grow. Like I told you in the definition of investment, that it is a way to put your money in activities that will keep it growing in compounding or cumulative approach. So even if it's a small investment, if it's a small investment in savings, if it's a small investment in treasury bill, if it is a small investment in stock, and that's why it's good. There's no amount is too small to invest. So the earlier you invest that small amount, the better it keeps accumulating. And then when it's time for you to now take whatever you have gathered to start something big, then you would be able to say, wow, I have this for myself. Mind you, when you want to start a business, for example, you could first start investing in your savings for that business. And that is what we call the financial goal that I have here. So when you start saving and then the saving accumulate to something, whatever you have saved can start as what we call bootstrapping to start your business. And when you want to bootstrap your business, when I get to business financing, I will give you more explanation about it. Bootstrapping does not necessarily mean that you have the whole money you need to start the business. The bootstrapping fund you have raised can perhaps be used to, if it's not enough to build the whole product you want to sell or to start, or service you want to deliver. You could start with a minimum viable product or service that you feel like, okay, let me use this to start this. You can use your bootstrapped fund to also do your research. So what am I saying is that the first strategy for you to invest is to start early. There is no time to start investing than that time that you have decided to answer the why invest. The second thing, like I said earlier, is you set a goal. You need to have an end goal for your investment, and you need to keep focus on that goal. The truth about it is that if you don't have a goal for the purpose where you're investing, then you will not be objective around it. Like I tell my students during any personal financing class that I know, I tell them that it's a matter of knowing the rule. Some of us believe that, oh, the money that I'm making now is not even enough for me to meet my present bills. So why will I have to start considering investing in any form of investment for now? That's not for me now. Maybe when I have extra. The truth about it is that when you want to set up your, I think I will have that in another session on its own. That's the 50-30-20 financial rule. That's your income rule, income distribution rule. 50% of your income should go to your needs. 30% should go to your wants, and then the remaining 20% should go to savings or investment. So a lot of us feels like 20%, that will be too much. How will I get that? But like I used to tell my clients is when your income increases by 100% today, your bills will also grow alongside. Funny enough, I was reading a post on the social media, and it was like during science classes, nobody told me bills are also living things because they also grow as your income grows. And that is the fact. So no matter what income you are earning, it may still not be enough. But the thing is that you have to be prudent with the income distribution rule, which is the 50-30-20. There will be a session that I will dedicate to that, and I will talk extensively on it. So if you want to buy a house, you want to retire comfortably and have a kind of a way passive income will be coming for you. You want to fund your child education, because investing in education is also an investment, yes. You need to set this clear goal for yourself. Some of us, we don't even have plan on how our children will go to university or how to fund the school fees of our children. And that's why some parents at the time of paying school fees, they start running helter-skelter. So you need to set it clear that 50,000 is my children's school fees. I'm earning 30,000 every month now. 3 months next, I had to pay a school fee. So the first 3 months, you need to set aside 50 divided by 3 and take it out of the 50,000 and keep it for that particular child school fees. Likewise, your rent is 100,000 every year and your income is 50,000 every month. You need to divide 100,000 by 12 and say, okay, every month I have to pay 9,000 plus as rent, and then that has to go into another investment, because when you don't do these things, you ended up getting stranded, financially stranded at the point when the bills are due. Mind you, rent may not necessarily cannot be relatively considered as an investment, but you may want to apply the same thing for mortgage. Maybe you are buying a house or something or other things. The number 3 strategy is to understand risk. A lot of us jump into investing without really knowing the risk involved in that kind of investment you are picking. And also some of us don't even understand our risk nature, or we relatively don't have a risk preference. Some of us, we just like, oh, I need any business I can do now that will give me more money. And somebody will like jump into a kind of business that does not align with his or her risk nature or risk appetite, risk nature or risk preference. Yeah, when I say risk appetite, what is risk appetite? Every investor's individual has a risk tolerance level. There is a level to which you can accept to take a particular risk, because taking that extra risk could be dangerous for you if your risk nature does not align with that type of risk. Let me give you 3 types of risk nature that we have as individual from my financial experience. First is the risk-loving investors, and the second is the risk averse, and the last is the risk indifference. There are some other ones in between, depending on how tolerant you could tolerate some of this risk. But a risk-loving person is that kind of a person that, irrespective of the economic situation, irrespective of the level of possibility to lose that money, probability to lose that money. That is, when they say put this money in this investment, the probability that you will lose it is 99.9. But if you don't lose it, the probability that you will make double is 99.9. Will you go ahead? Let me explain that to you. You are investing £10,000 to import a particular item from China, maybe to the United Kingdom. And you feel like, okay, when I invest this 10,000 into this particular asset, goods, and it's landing in the UK, you face the risk that if the quality of the item, because UK are very concerned about quality, so they will do a proper quality check on that item and be sure that it meets their standard. But the risk is that when you buy this item from the Chinese China, and you bought it maybe at £1 per unit, and it's landing in the UK. As soon as it landed in UK, you sell it at £10 per unit. But the possibility that the item, if it doesn't pass that test, will be destroyed. They may not necessarily return it back to China. It gets destroyed. What it implies is that as soon as the item lands and they do the testing and it does not meet the quality of UK, you are losing the whole of the £10,000. But if it escape and you are peradventure able to pass that test, then you have times 100. You understand? Okay, no, times 10, because you are buying it £1, you are selling it £10. That is, you are making times 10 of the cost. That is the highest level of risk. If you decide to say, okay, let me go ahead, I don't mind losing everything if it doesn't work out. And if it works out, yeah, I'm ready to take 10 times of what I have invested. So that is the level of risk loving. Some people will not invest in an investment that is not giving them so much because they wanted to earn more. They wanted more reward. So they love to invest in businesses that has more risk. They wanted to do things that can multiply their money like times 5, times 10, but the possibility of losing that money also is very high. And that's why you see some of those people investing in things that they will just believe that if I lose it, I lose it. But some of us, even if it is a small part of our income or savings that we lose, how can we really tolerate those losses? If the moment you feel like, oh, the moment you lose money, you are not feeling comfortable, is affecting your emotion, your health, then you are becoming a risk averser. So that kind of a person, you should not go to the like of investment that someone that is a risk lover would like to go into. So let me give you, for instance, if you are a risk averser, you would prefer to allow that investment to arrive in the UK and then buy from the person that imported it into the UK and start selling. A risk averser would rather pay for what they have seen and then go and resell it to another person and say, okay, take and bring my money. They will not want to take the risk of waiting, the risk of possibility of arriving or not arriving. They are always afraid of it. In fact, a risk averser may not want to invest into importation and exportation because they will be afraid of what if anything happen on transit? What if the ship capsize and then everything gone? But a risk lover will not mind. If it goes, it goes. I would put my money into it. But for the risk averser, they will prefer it to land, then see it before they buy, because they believe that somebody else should carry the other risk. But the bottom line is that you have the potential of making higher return when you are ready to take higher risk. And the lesser your risk appetite is, the lesser the possibility of what returns comes back to you. So it's important for you, before you invest in anything, to understand your risk nature. Understand how much you can tolerate risk. Take, for example, a risk averser will not want to invest in transportation business, because your vehicle will keep transporting and will keep moving every day. So you will be afraid of, even at night, you may not be able to sleep. because your worries is like, I hope this vehicle arrived safely. I hope the next one when they are coming. So the moment you cannot wave your eyes and feel like, okay, let me pass the risk to someone else and focus on what you know how to do, then you shouldn't take those risks because it is likely going to have a negative effect on you, on your emotion. And that's why some of us, when we are into any business and we lost any money, we transfer that aggression to people around us, and that's not too good. So that's why it's important when you are investing, you invest aligned with your risk nature. So a risk lover, for example, like I've given you, will invest in stock of companies, because when you invest in the stock of company, you have the possibility of sharing as in their part of profit. But a risk averse will like, if I invest in that company and the company fails, what will happen? So such person will want to prefer to invest in savings. But savings, anytime I want it, I will take it back. But do you know that when you invest in savings, the percentage that you get as return is like maybe 3.5% in Nigeria. But someone that wants to take extra risk, maybe indifference, want to take like extra risk, okay, let me go for fixed deposit instead. Because for savings, any day you walked into your bank, you can withdraw it. And that is why the banks is also not promising you any extra income. That was why it's relatively small. But for fixed deposit, the interest rate goes a bit higher because you are giving the money to the bank, you are entrusting the money with the bank, and you said, I won't come for this money in the next 90 days, in the next 30 days. Just keep it. So that has a potentially higher risk because the banks can also fail. So a risk averse will not want to do fixed deposits because that's when you look at your risk tolerance scale. So the higher it's going, the lesser the potential of risk you would want to take. And then some of the risk averse will prefer to like, let me go for treasury bills. Treasury bills is a means of investment into government stock. And you know, government may likely not collapse. So tomorrow the government still continue, even if there is political instability, one government is gone. The moment you have a treasury bill or you have a treasury certificate of your investment, you are you are confident that your investment is relatively secured, and you can even trade your treasury bill certificate for other business. You can liquidate it and use it to borrow money. So all of those things also depends on your risk nature, your risk tolerance level, your risk preference. So it's important, once again, for you to understand your risk nature, your risk preference before you go into any form of investment. The number 4 investment strategy is diversification. You need to understand diversification when you are investing. When you have £10,000, for example, to invest, you don't pump the whole of the money into a particular product that you are not very sure of the market potential. And even if you do, you could also diversify. Let me give you a practical example from my business. We are into cosmetics. We know cosmetics business is could be seasonal, especially shea butter, could be seasonal and could be picky. People could feel like I don't need to cream my body. I don't need to use soap. I can just use a random soap to bath and the like. So we started thinking of it that okay, let's start from the shea butter perspective. Shea butter is relatively seasonal. So at a season, we find it expensive to get the shea nut and process to shea butter. And sometimes also, it's also about the weather. When the weather is relatively very hot, the demand or the desire to use oil-based product drops. And when the weather is extensively warm and cold, people want to use during Harmattan, people start having cracked skin, lips, and the like. So they would like to use shea butter because it has healing properties and also good oil base to moisturize your skin. So the point now is during the hot weather, there is a lesser demand for shea butter. So what we did at Amgood is that was years ago. We decided to say, let's introduce soap, and all our things is always natural. So we went in for the black soap, African black soap. So we did the exfoliating black soap then. And when we did that, we felt like, okay, during the hot weather, people are always having the tendency to sweat more. And the more you sweat, the more your desire, you want to take more bets. So we felt like soap would be a good diversification in for shea butter. It's not leaving cosmetics. We are still diversifying within cosmetics. So it is important for you. If you are doing any investment, you need to have a strategy to diversify because you shouldn't just face one direction that, oh, this is what I know how to do. So even if it is cosmetics, irrespective of the industry you are into, there is a diversification opportunity in those areas. We diversified into soap. We also felt like, okay, let's develop some water-based products that would reduce the oil content and still make people want to like, okay, let me use black soap and use a lotion rather than a cream. So we diversified also from body cream, body butter cream to body lotion, and we introduced lotion for babies, lotion for adults, and the like. So, and all of that are shown in the initial picture that I showed you now. So you could see the lotion that we did. We diversified to some lighter oils like coconut oil, almond oil, and the likes. So all of these are diversification approach that you could use in your business. And there could be diversification outside the present business line that you have into another one. So you need to spread your investment. And if you are into investing in stock as well, you may decide to have a little of stock, a little of bonds, a little of investment in real estate, so that everything don't just stay in one purse. Yeah, and you know the adage, you don't keep all your eggs in one basket because when the basket falls off, you lose the whole egg. But if you put little of the egg in some basket, another one, so per adventure, one of the basket falls off, you still have the other basket to fall back on. So that's just the what diversification is trying to tell you. So now the next is knowing when to invest. When do you really have to start thinking of investment? The first thing is when you are financially stable and sensitive. You see, the ideal moment to consider investing is when you possess a steady income. A lot of people feels like the ideal time to invest is when you have enough money. No, it is when you have a source of steady income. And that's why a lot of people make mistakes. They wait until when they've saved that big money, then they retire and start a business. You would put more pressure on that business that you are investing into. So it is better you start that business while you are still making some income. Yes, you may be paying money to people to manage it for you. And at that point also, you test run, you do some market testing to see whether the business is going to survive or not. And also, you are ready for investment when you are sensitive enough that not every money you earn should go to bills or everything. You need to understand the 50-30-20 rules, like I have it on the screen here. 50 needs to go to needs, 30 needs to go to your wants and savings, 20% to savings for future investment. So that is financial sensitivity. If you don't know about this or you don't pay attention to it, you are not sensitive enough to say that you are really ready for investment. And then investment readiness also means that you have to be aware of what you want to invest to. You also need to, you have to be ready in terms of thinking of which areas can I really invest into, what ideas, because the moment you are not thinking of where to invest, then you are not ready for it. Like I said you are investment ready the moment you start planning to save to secure your future. Because the truth about it is some people feels like let me just look for anything that I can do to get me more money. But the moment you have that thought, yes, you are moving towards readiness. But the time, like I said earlier, you start planning towards it and say, okay, let me keep this amount into my savings, or let me set this amount aside for this particular investment. That is when I tells you that you are really ready to invest. Finally, financial prudency. You are not ready for investment when you put your money in a place where you can just jump into it and receive it back. Or you put your money into a small business, you are selling clothes, for example, and you are still earning, like I mentioned, you are financially stable, you are earning a stable income, and you are sensitive to keep some of it for savings, and then you put that money into a business, and you feel like, oh, now I'm doing a business and it's making profit. Let me start going there to withdraw the profit. You are still not ready for investment. You are investment ready when you are able to prioritize on certain future financial security over your present pleasure. That is, when you even start making profit from your business, you are not bothered to withdraw that profit. I ask people, are you ready not to spend your profit in the first 2 years of your business? That you just want the profit to keep accumulating and you are plowing it back into that same business. If you are not ready for that, then you are not investment ready. Because the truth is that you don't tend to get, you could get seed capital, you could get grants to start your business, which I will explain in some of my future presentation. But you don't have that possibility as a starting business. So that is why the first source of funds to expand your business is to plow back your profits. So you should be financially prudent as much as possible to ensure that you don't spend everything you make in your business. And then talking about business financing, I think at this point, I would be putting that in the series 2 of this class so that 40 minutes will be enough for you to understand investment and investment strategy. So I want to appreciate you all for joining this session and watch out for the next version. So continue to like, subscribe, and put on the notification bell for this FinREMIT channel to see new videos when we are as soon as we are uploading them. And also, the HD version of this video will be uploaded to our FinREMIT mobile app. You have that freedom to watch it free of charge from Android. So as soon as the app is released onto Android, you have the opportunity to download and watch a lot of our videos in the HD version. And also, on the mobile app, you can start saving and also investing. So why can't you join the waiting list for this app by visiting www.finremit.co.uk, and I look forward to seeing you again in our next video. Thank you and God bless you.